Hey, gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and I am here interviewing my very special guest, Effendy Norzaman. He is a Zenobia Award finalist, and his game is Melaka, the Forgotten Empire. So, Effendi, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm great.
I guess it's morning for you, but
Yeah, it is morning for you, but when you ask about night, then I understand that we are but 12 hours apart.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited to hear about your game. Why don't you tell us about it? So, for people who know nothing about your game, what is it about?
Okay, it's Melaka. It's called Melaka. It's the actual spelling as well now, authorized by UNESCO, I think. Yes, Melaka is Forgotten Empire. So it is about 15th century Malay Sultanate Melaka in Southeast Asia. So the game is about uh, empire building, or I can say it's civilization, a mini civilization game. But I call it empire building. So it let the player play as the nobles who are loyal to the sultan. Those are the days in 15th century where basically everybody have to follow the king command. So it's about that. So the player play as nobles. They have to basically expand Malacca Empire, geographically, economically, culturally, yep, those things. And though they have to follow King Command, basically there is a mechanic in the game which basically like AI play as a non-player character, which command by the king, but everybody have to follow that command, but they still have to outsmart each other so that who can build the better Malacca. So basically, that's basically that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've already mentioned one mechanism, which is that there are orders coming from the Sultan that all the players
Yeah.
have to deal with.
Yeah.
What other kinds of mechanisms are in the game for people who are curious?
Okay. It's an empire building, so it involves as well area control. So basically, they start in Malacca and then they start to expand their influence. So who can basically say area control? What another mechanism is area control. So they have to go bigger and bigger. But at the same time, okay, the bigger their empire is, they have to make sure they provide food and security. So there is the element of for every new land you expand, you need to provide food and security, because that is a key success factor of Malacca Empire last time. They're able to provide food and security. So that is a major check of the game lah. And of course, we have like worker placement a bit, where each region that they control, it will give them points, of course, at the end at the scoring round, and also it give them resources so that they can basically use resources for many regions. Yeah.
What made you interested in this topic and decide to do a game about it?
Okay. Frankly, I actually started to put down notes about this Melaka game before Zenobia Award. Yes, something like that. So I want to do it because of Melaka is actually currently is a very small state in Malaysia. I mean, so I think 1 year before Zenobia Award started last year, I saw an interview in TV, and then I start to realize that some younger generation was interviewed during Malaysia Independence Day, and they feel that something like, I don't know, jokingly or seriously, I'm not sure, but they sort of saying that maybe we should be conquered. I mean, I do not know. I feel it's wrong. So that sort of triggered me to maybe I should try to come up with something so that people remember again that we do it's not called Malaysia those days, it's called Melaka. Melaka have reached certain, I would say, peak of their time. And how can people actually say that maybe it's good that we got conquered again? So I would say that is the among the why it was why I have that idea to come up with Melaka game so that people talk about it again. People aware that Melaka have reached their glory days 100 years ago. That why we want to be conquered again. So I hope they see that Melaka have reached certain glory days like that.
Do kids in Malaysia learn about Malacca in school, or is it something that you researched because you were interested in it?
Uh, Melaka was mentioned in school, but it was mentioned possibly something like I would say that maybe just a few pages of it. So I mean nowadays people feel that Melaka is just a few pages in the historical book. Even in Melaka nowadays, when people, maybe tourists, will visit Melaka, I would say the physical evidence that Melaka have reached that glory days are just things like Afamosa, which is actually Portuguese, and then some Dutch red buildings. There is no really physical evidence of the existence of that greatness of Melaka, the Malay Sultanate Empire of Melaka. So basically, there's not much there that to show that Melaka have reached that that glory days lah. Even as I said in the storybook, most people see that Melaka just another a few pages of the historical book, like any other historical of history of Malaysia lah. Yeah.
So, how did you end up learning about it? Like, what made you interested even before the game?
Okay, that's a question that, well, as I said earlier, I started sort of put down notes on a piece of paper about sort of concept on the Melaka. I actually start to read 3 or 4 books. I mean, this is an actual historical book about Melaka, and written by. I also, well, sort of, I check online, of course, at that time, and I also read few books. But when I entered Zenobia, that is a big thing actually. When I realized, I realized actually to come up with a historical game, you need to consider a lot more. So I have to say that it was a blessing that someone actually recommend when they saw my game somewhere in a small like a game convention here in Malaysia. They saw it and they said, "Hey, why don't you enter Zenobia?" So I said, "What is that?" At the time, I don't even know what is that. So I submit, and then of course the story after this 1 year, as I said lah, I have read from 4 books. Now I think I can say that I have read nearly 13 historical books about Melaka. I was like, I was nearly somewhere there along the way, was like thinking, what am I doing? Yeah, I mean, but it was a good I would say experience that it pushed me to actually read more. Not only I got to learn more about the about Melaka, but also some of the facts that I found while reading these extra books actually helps me. It gives me idea of, oh, this can I can use that as a sort of a link, missing link. You know, when you design a game, there is sometimes somewhere you feel that there's something not right, something missing. But while reading that 13 book, the extra books, actually it give me some idea also to fix certain, how to put certain problems. Yeah, certain problem to the game. So Snowball have helped a lot. Exactly. Yeah.
How much has your game changed from when you made like the first version of it until now? And what kinds of things changed?
Okay. A lot, of course. And few days ago, I actually opened up another test play, physical test play with I think 2 player that have never played Melaka, but the other 2 actually have played Melaka sort of the first version. So they actually give a good comment. They sort of, after 10 minutes, I sort of explain a bit on the board. They basically say that, this is not the Melaka that I played like 2 years, 1.5 years ago. It was a big change, and as I said, there is a lot, not say a lot. I mean, there's 1 or 2 element which is I'm glad that actually I make that, I would say, quite last minute changes to the game. Especially if I can say there is one mechanic space on the board called Melaka port, which is I overlooked because Melaka is a maritime empire. So though it mentioned about a lot of resources where Melaka gained from the region and the world, but it doesn't portray the busyness of the port itself. So there is extra dice drafting, dice rolling that indicate it's not complex, but it just show that how busy Melaka port is. It is. It is. I mean, without Zenobia, that will not happen. It doesn't exist. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, a lot of change from that day one.
Would you say so you mentioned, like, without Zenobia, it might not have happened. Would you say that you made well, okay, so Zenobia has, mentoring and there are groups of other designers that you can work with. Did that aspect of the process help you while you were working on future like, more advanced editions of Malacca?
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, actually, for me, when I start to read above 10 books, I start to also put to myself a present Fendi. You cannot do a basic simple game. You must create a great game after reading the book. And then when I speak to the mentor, especially, attending some of the webinar, listen to some of experienced designer. I think I would say like Cole, and then Volko, and then in my smaller group in Port A, the mentor was very helpful, giving and I can mention the name, yeah, in
Yeah, of
my
course.
Port A. Harold was there, Harold Buchanan, and then two previous I would say finalists, Sharia, designer of Cartini, and Alison Collin. For them to share some of their own experience and something that because I do have one or two dilemma on on designing decision whether to include certain thing, not including certain thing. So they have shared certain, I would say, very good insight on on the design. Especially, I think I would say that I can recall on the design. I used to have I think about 11 rounds of my game, but my submission only have 9. It was very difficult to cut from 11 to 9. You know, you tend to attach to your game, but the method, and I'm very happy that it's now less rounds than the original that I intend to put to the game.
Excellent. And then, do you have a lot of changes? I mean, you've got about 2 weeks before that final version is due. How are you doing on making your last changes to your
Mm,
prototype before you submit it?
okay. Yeah, it feels short 2 weeks, but I frankly, frankly, it is this is my part. I think everybody have a different. I feel the toughest part for me already passed. I have to say that I feel that toughest part before during that submission was tough because have to write the rule book. That was terrible. I mean, it's a good experience. It's a terrible. I mean, even in the last 1 hour, I do. You feel that you need to change bit more here and there. It was a terrible feeling of when you submit and you after the next day, then you feel, oh no, I should have do it that way. I should have write it this way. It was a terrible feeling. But these 2 weeks, I think the fact that many people that I share this in my social media, Facebook, and those other, I would say, some local designers were, and then local community here. Some have the one that have tested this. I mean, some that never tested that also wish me luck on they're happy to see, especially some gamers happy to see some this our local history, local names will appear in sort of international stage. So this good luck to me, very helpful. And the next 2 weeks, I focus on judges' comments, and so that's my focus. And I think I will do that. And as I said, I will have another physical test play in the next few days before I sort of finalize and submit. And I hope the judges will love the game as it is in the next few weeks. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you initially got the idea to make Melaka because there were local kids who didn't understand the history of your country very well. How are how are people in your local community responding to the subject matter of your game? Like, how does it make them feel? Do they get excited? Do they care? Do they recognize it? Did they learn something?
Um, okay, I mean, since last year as well, I do bring out Melaka to some game, not say convention. Convention sounds big. Um, Most of them initial reaction is surprise. um, first, I think if they're not gamers, I mean, if they're not board gamers, if they're not board gamers, they're definitely surprised because they don't even realize that a board game actually can have historical context. I mean, they don't even know other board game. They don't even know what Twilight Imperium. They don't even know what else, Ticket to Ride. So to see a board game with Malacca in is definitely a surprise for those board gamer. But it triggered their curiosity, so they ask how to play. They ask, did you ask? Basically, everybody surprised. I will say surprised. And then, but they ask, it triggered their curiosity. They ask, why they ask roughly how to play, and they ask certain term or component that exists in the game, whether it's really is it because one of the components say called orang laut. They say, what is orang laut? Why do you have it? So it's a historical facts that Melaka success, the security I mentioned just now, the security of the the sea around Melaka was protected by this group of orang laut. So that element was there. So I'm happy that the fact that they're curious, they asked about it, and they actually even challenged me, what is that? Really is there. So if they want to see book, I have 14 books to choose now to show them. It was better in basically I have to say all the books, yeah, about this one what a group of I would say fishermen, they call it orang laut fishermen that actually helped the Melaka to fight the pirates around South China Sea of the Malacca Strait. So that is the historical facts lah about it. So yes, they're surprised, but they asked. I'm happy that they asked again further. I've test children aged 10 and with the sister 10 and 11. I remember that was among the days that I feel I should continue. I mean, I surprised that they actually play for about an hour, and because it's not a casual fun family game. It's quite, I would say, heavy with some a lot of components, agencies here and there, and they played, and I remember the boy, because that convention has a lot of other games, a family game, a 10-15 minutes game. I am the only one, a Melaka, a historical board game, and that boy rate me the highest. I was so glad. It gives you the extra motivation to say yes, people can accept this. Though they surprised, yes, but they when they try, they ask, and I think they will accept and embrace. And of course, there will be a discussion. They ask question why it's like this, why it's like that. But that's what I believe. The game and Zenobia wants to. Well, I guess that's what Zenobia also wants. That people talk about history, discuss about it in a very, I would say, different way, rather than just reading. But this is about they put themselves in that in 15th century Melaka lah. So they discuss, they can feel it, and yeah, I'm glad they react like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so now just a couple of softy questions before I let you go.
All
So,
right.
what are some games that you have been enjoying recently when you have time to play when you're not designing?
Okay. First of all, I actually have a board game cafe in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, nice.
And so I have, well, at my center have about nearly 300 games. So I'm actually quite a heavy, I would say heavy gamers. But now I'm so busy I started doing designing 2 years back. I mean, a small scale for a group of NGOs, things like that. But recently, if I can say some of this latest game that I play. Well, 2 days ago, actually, I play Eclipse. Eclipse by, I cannot remember who's the designer, but Eclipse. Yes, and yes, I teach few people playing some family game. I think Cash and Guns, what else? Chinatown. Yeah, that's that. And Ghost Bliss. I mean, that's party game. Uh, Ghost Bliss, yeah, I think it's called Ghost Bliss, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, don't get me to list down all the games that I've played. Uh,
I gotta visit you now and go to the board game cafe. And then
oh,
if people want to find you online, do you have social media that
uh,
where they can follow you?
yes, I'm in Facebook. I'm in, I think Instagram as well. Um, Instagram and Facebook, that is where I'm active under the name Effendy Norzaman. I think if you search that, I think you can find Facebook, even Twitter, but I don't think I'm active in Twitter. But Facebook and Instagram is where I'm active. Yep. Under Effendy Norzaman. I think both are Effendy Norzaman. Yep.
Fantastic. Effendi,
All
thank
right.
you so much for spending some time talking to me. This is awesome. I'm really excited for your game and congratulations for being a Zenobia finalist. This is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Liz. Thank you for your wish. I mean, yes, it's a long journey. I've never feel designing a game can be this, but very fulfilling. Thank you again for the interview. I mean, this is first for me actually. I will say first, first for me having this kind of interview. I have an online meeting before, but interview. Thank you very much, Liz. Hope you okay and take care over there.
Absolutely. All right, everybody out there, I'm Beyond Solitaire everywhere. And please like, subscribe, comment, check out the Zenobia finalists. And most of all, happy gaming, everybody.